Now, you may not know it in the US because I'm generally impolite and I've never apologized, but I am Canadian. So today I'm introducing a new segment for my American friends. Explain it to the Canadian. In many ways, Canadians are a lot like Americans. For example, we're sick of the Kardashians too. In other ways, we're different. One of the biggest differences? Guns. Dudes, what the fuck? Because of its historical importance, we study your Constitution up here. As I recall, the Second Amendment was instituted as a substitute for the U.S. having a standing army and a general distrust of government among people raised under a king. Hence the mention of gun rights being associated with a well-regulated militia, which an individual isn't. And nowadays, civilian militias are bug-fuck insane. And I understand that the amendment was reinterpreted in 2008 by the Supreme Court to detach the requirement of a militia to gun ownership. So explain this to the Canadian. Okay, you have the right to carry guns, but why do you? The Second Amendment says you can carry guns, not that you have to. I mean, is this why some people are so resistant to the idea of gay marriage? The thought that if you have the right to marry a same-sex partner, you actually have to? Here's the source of my confusion. Here in Canada, we wear the same types of clothes as Americans, shop in the same stores as Americans, eat the same food as Americans, see the same movies and watch the same TV as Americans, but people don't carry guns. So in comparison, according to the latest stats, the gun homicide rate in the US is 3.55 per 100,000 people. In Canada, it's 0.51. Coincidence? Maybe I'm just a dumb Canadian. I understand the argument that gun laws don't keep guns out of the hands of criminals, but we have criminals and illegal guns in Canada too, yet. And no, it's not because our criminals are more polite. Another mystery to us in the Great White North. It doesn't take long after a mass shooting in the US for gun enthusiasts to say that there would have been less deaths if the victims had carried guns of their own. Again, I'm just a dumb Canadian, so let me take this slowly. You think less people would be killed if there were more bullets being fired. I'm struggling to understand the physics. It seems to me there would be less deaths not if everyone had guns, but if the shooter didn't have one. Donald Trump says the problem in the US isn't gun laws, it's mental health issues. How about the issue of the mentally ill having easy access to guns? That's two great tastes that taste shit together. But whenever gun violence discussions come around to the preponderance of guns, gun advocates say, these aren't the droids you're looking for, and it all goes away. Apparently the NRA is also armed with Jedi mind tricks. But again, explain this to the Canadian. You have the right to carry guns, but why do you choose to? Just because you can do something doesn't mean you should do something. Have you tried the grapple? It's an apple crossed with grapes. Ugh! I've heard the argument that some citizens keep guns in case the government becomes tyrannical. That makes no sense. The government has helicopter gunships, missiles, explosives, gas canisters, the best weaponry, command and control structures, and legions of troops. And you have a gun. You'd be better off with a nest of feral cats or a laptop. So again, considering all the problems the proliferation of guns have caused in the US, you have the right to carry them, but why do you feel the compulsion to carry them? Maybe rather than arguing about gun laws, that's the question to tackle. But hey, maybe there's something about this I'm missing. So do me a favor, go down to the comments section and explain it to the Canadian. By the way, while you're there, subscribe.